Welcome, everyone, to What to Watch Live, the show where we discuss the best in TV and entertainment this week. Happy Halloween, everyone. My name is David, and we have a very special, very spooky, very scary show planned for you. If you're a fan of all things that go bump in the night, you'll love today's show, which will feature a look at Xfinity's Halloween collection, an exploration of popular songs with terrifying real-life inspirations, a deep dive into horror movie classics you can watch right now for free, and a very special interview with the star of Halloween Ends, now in theaters and streaming on Peacock. We've got Jamie Lee Curtis joining us, and of course, we'll help you organize your TV watch list for the week ahead. So, without further ado, let's kick things off on the Halloween show with a little trick or treating, and boy, do I have a treat for you. Please welcome to What to Watch Live the stars of the new Netflix movie, The School for Good and Evil, Charlize Theron and Kerry Washington. Oh, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, why aren't you here?
Of course. I'm hiding here. This is where I have all my stuff, as you can see.
Your Halloween thing.
You're ready for Halloween.
Yeah. So, The School for Good and Evil is attended by the offspring of many iconic fairy tale villains. Charlize, since you played Lady Lesso, the dean of the School of Evil, I'm curious if you have a favorite TV, movie, literary, or pop culture villain.
This is so cheesy.
Tell me.
Well, I mean, Alexis Harrington. You won't know. Do you know who that is? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's so good.
Do you know who that is? He's too young. He's too young. No, you're too young. You're too young. Dynasty. It was Joan Collins's character in Dynasty with the. Look it up. Google it.
Yes, so good. So good. There are incredible scenes with her and Diane Carroll. Just incredible.
Oh my
That
God.
show was everything.
So I learned everything about womanhood from that show.
Oh, well, that explains
Which is
a lot.
problematic.
I love it.
Kerry, I'll turn it around and say you play Professor Dovey, and she's Dean of School of Good. Do you have a favorite TV, movie, literary, or pop culture hero?
Oh, goodness. I love this new wave of heroines, that are like not quite princesses. They're more badass, the Rayas and the Moanas I'm really into those gals. For me, I find them super inspiring, but also for my daughters and for my son, actually, right? To like be in a world where women have agency and where their story is not just about waiting for a guy to kiss them while they're taking a nap, a really, really long nap, but that they're like out in the world doing stuff.
There's
so much wrong
so
with that.
problematic what you just said.
Right. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I really love about this movie is the story of friendship, and obviously Sophie and Agatha have this wonderful, deep friendship despite their differences. And although we don't get a real glimpse at Lesso and Dovey's personal lives, do you think they hang out after hours?
They might secretly. I have a feeling like Lady Lesso might become incredibly vulnerable around 3 a.m. Like knock on your door, be like, and then have no recollection of it whatsoever.
Yes.
Yeah. And
yes.
then you'll be like, you were, like, roll my eyes. Yeah.
They definitely need each other. You feel like they need each other, and they know that they need each other. It's almost as if her existence helps to define Dovey's sense of self. They have a very symbiotic relationship. Yeah. Really.
And so do Kerry and I.
Yeah, we also have become unhealthily codependent.
Very needed.
It's all right. We'll get through it.
Well, since it is Halloween and there's no better time to celebrate good and evil, I'm curious if either of you remember one of your earliest Halloween costumes or a time you dressed up as some sort of a character as a kid.
We do now, but we did not celebrate Halloween back in South Africa when I was a kid. So I came to celebrate it here as an adult. Yes. Yeah.
I remember one year like not having a costume. I don't know whether we ordered it and it never arrived, and my mother had this we came up with this incredible costume. It was like a white garment bag that my mom cut a larger space on top, and because of the shape of it, I was a tube of toothpaste. And so we like wrote I don't know,
Colgate or
yeah,
something, yeah.
Crest or whatever it was on the bag, and it was like the cheapest and most fun costume ever.
I might steal that.
I know, it's really good. I have a good mom. She's a good mom. Yeah.
I love that. And I also love this movie. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Every so often, a very lucky candidate from the outside is selected for admission to this hallowed institution.
It's happening. This is it! This is real!
We've been expecting you.
The School for Good and Evil, where the true story behind every great fairy tale begins. The School for Good trains the heroes. The School for Evil, the villains.
You're trying to tell me that Snow White and Cinderella and Jack and the Beanstalk were real?
Our graduates live the very real events, which become the stories.
All right, believe it or not, we actually plan the show out in advance. We don't just show up and see what those are going to be. And while we were doing it, we were putting this thing together, our producer says, hey, Gordon, why don't you just have like a cauldron and you can pull names out of the cauldron? Like I just have a cauldron in my basement. Huh, joke's on him, because I totally do. I totally have a
Do
cauldron
you really? Where did you get that?
in my basement. You guys don't have?
That's how he
In
cooks
your
his lamb pilaf every
Right.
other weekend.
I'm always raving about my lamb pilaf. All right, so what we're doing here is I'm going to reach into my cauldron and pull out the name of a show or movie or music or something Halloween-wise, and then these two have to decide if it's scary or silly. Scott, of course, being our one who loves the scary, and Rose, who loves her silly. So without any further ado, and there's been quite a bit of ado, let's see what we got here. All right. Oh, okay, this one's easy. This one is definitely scary. Scott, what can you tell us about Halloween Ends?
Ooh, Halloween Ends. Are we all not super excited about Halloween Ends? Did we not know what's happening with Halloween Ends?
I love my Halloween movies, especially H2O, as we were talking about earlier. But like,
Ooh.
this one has got some work to do after what was the last one? Halloween, maybe. Halloween, Halloween Actually. I don't remember.
Returns.
Halloween
I think.
Returns. Okay.
Halloween Actually?
Yeah, Love Actually, Halloween, Death Actually.
Halloween Menace, Attack
No.
of Halloween.
Halloween Actually would be the worst description of it because he didn't actually die at the end of it. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Yeah, fans are clamoring for this one. It is supposedly the last of the Halloween movies, which we've heard just a few times before, like maybe like 3 or 4, but like whatever. We're gonna take them for their word on this one. I think it is most likely going to be Jamie Lee Curtis's last hurrah with the franchise, and I think that is why most people will be going to see this particular film. It is the saddest thing, right? I'm just like, ugh.
That's for Jamie Lee. This is for Jamie Lee.
Is that a pumpkin or?
Did you see? I was like,
he's doing shadow figures behind
shadow
himself.
puppets. I'm like,
He's
oh, I love you, Jamie Lee.
You did the heart symbol like Kendall Jenner, cuts cucumbers.
But wow,
I got a lot. I get that. Oh, when I'm not making my lamb pilaf, I always get how I do my heart like Kendall Jenner.
Yes, cuts right through me. Also, didn't know that you did ASL, Gordon. This is fascinating to me.
We're learning. We're here to learn and laugh and love.
Yeah, naturally, as we do here on What to Watch Live. But this is the final part of the threequel, if you will, that basically scrapped everything after Halloween 1 and 2 and picked up where Jamie Lee Curtis was now hiding and prepared for Michael Myers' return. Surprise, he came back. She fought him off, set him on fire, wasn't enough, stabbed him, and then threw him out of. I can't remember actually what happened at the end of the last one. I'll have to revisit it right before I go to see this one. But yeah, surprise, he didn't die, and he's coming down. And they're promising the most brutal fight to the death at the end of this one. Who do we think will win here? Do we think it's going to be Laurie Strode? Do we think it's going to be Michael Myers?
I don't know, because
Fight to the death.
Scary for me.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, speaking of H2O, they pulled that nonsense there as well. And surprise, he came back. He still came back. I mean, with a very clever twist, by the way.
She lopped his head off, and they were like, he's fine.
It wasn't him, though.
It wasn't
somebody else.
Wait,
Spoiler alert.
hold on. Because, so me and Scott are the complete opposites of each other, right?
Yeah.
So I stay away from all of the Scott stuff, like Halloween-y stuff. The only thing that I know about Halloween is this guy with a mask just stands there. Like, does he run? Like, how does he get away?
Why would he run? Why would he run? He's so confident that he's got it in the bag that he's just like, I'm gonna take my time. He runs to Starbucks, grabs a coffee, comes back. He's like, oh, she's still falling over for no reason. There's nothing on the ground here, but whatever. It's fine. We'll come back to this.
I think we figured out Michael
emails.
Myers' superpower is self-confidence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, honestly, confidence is king. But Rose, this is a really good point because there is a huge spectrum of Halloween titles that we have available on the platform. Halloween definitely is in the larger or more scary side of things. But our Halloween on Xfinity destination has everyone covered. So if you're looking for something super niche, if you're looking for something that's very scary, recommend checking out our horror movies destination that's built within Halloween, the overall Halloween build. So you can check out everything there. If you want to find something that's a little bit more campy, or you want to revisit some of the Simpsons Halloween episodes, you can check that out in the TV destination. Rose, I imagine at some point in this show is definitely going to give us a little chit chat about the kids' destination. So I won't steal her thunder just yet. But our amazing editor Quam has a fabulous music destination that is definitely worth checking out. You know, if you just need to throw something on, you're throwing a Halloween party and you want to just put something on super easy, check it out. He's got you covered. And then, of course, I give you the ultimate queer horror destination. You know, as queer folk, we have an interesting relationship with horror. It hasn't always been very kind to us. Unfortunately, my peoples have died many, many times over. But we still maintain this amazing relationship with it. Maybe it's because of the camp. Maybe it's because we feel a connection with otherness. But I think for me personally, it's really about the fact that it's a level playing field. No one is safe in horror. And I think, you know, we as gay people, we just want an even playing field. You know what I'm saying? And plus we're also just like really good at a lot of random stuff. So horror, like staying alive should hopefully benefit us at some point. Black Experience has an amazing destination. I highly recommend taking a look at that. Obviously, tons of Jordan Peele in there, and he is just an icon, legend. You can check out Nope in that space. We've got Latina. And then, of course, Gordon whipped up some amazing Halloween gaming. So he's got everything covered there. I think that covers the basics of the Halloween destination. I think, or is it time to dip into the cauldron again? I feel like the cauldron. This is the perfect time. What's the next title? I'm so excited. What could possibly happen?
You see the price tag at the bottom when I looked at it?
He's returning it immediately after the show.
Spirit Halloween.
Right, he kept the tags on.
Crafts, just know that this is coming back.
Nothing wrong with that.
Leave the receipt. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, here we have the polar opposite, and I'm embarrassed that I did not watch this until very recently. It's been out for a while. Hocus Pocus and its soon-to-be released sequel. Rose, I think this falls under silly.
Yes, this definitely falls on my end of the scary threshold spectrum. That's definitely Hocus Pocus, the original movie, which was released in 1993. It takes place in Salem, Massachusetts, about a kid named Max and his sister, like going into this abandoned house, and they accidentally like release and freeze these three sisters, the Sanderson sisters, and they're hungry children hungry evil witches, and they have to save the world from these 3 witches. And it sounds really sinister, but it's not. It's a Disney movie.
It's pretty sinister, girl.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
When I read the plot out like that, children hungry evil witches.
Yes. I mean, they just want the same thing we all want, to look young and beautiful forever, right?
That's true.
Accurate.
What is a couple children here and there? Just
I think there is something to be said for the restraint of Disney, just calling it Hocus Pocus 2, because it would have been like, somebody might have been like, Hocus Pocus 2, 100% that witch, or something terrible. So kudos to Disney for showing some restraint on that front.
I mean, it says "We're back, witches" as the tagline, but I think
the two Odyssey. Okay.
Yeah, but I kind of love 100% that witch even more, Gordon. I think you need to write Disney immediately, and maybe it's a line in the movie. Who knows? We'll see.
Who knows? We'll have to wait and find out. But I mean, Hocus Pocus 2 the movie releases nearly 29 years later. It's basically the same plot. It's just set in modern day Salem, Massachusetts. But the thing that I love about these 2 movies is that it has like generations involved. So, the people who grew up with Hocus Pocus can now enjoy it and, feel that nostalgia again with Hocus Pocus 2. I always love sharing things that I grew up watching with my son, and it's really fun to share that with him, and then have a shared experience of watching something for the first time together too. So that's really fun also. And maybe this might be a good segue to show what we have for our kids' destination. I should say kids and family destination for Halloween. So if you say kids Halloween into your voice remote, and also this lies within the Uber destination that we have, this fun featured collection, you'll find everything. You'll find more family friendly, the low scary threshold choices. Think around like PG-13-ish situations, from top picks that we've handpicked ourselves. We make free movies for Halloween, easy to find. We even have friendly Halloween faces if you're really partial to a character, one character, another. My personal favorite is in there too. You'll find that when you say kids Halloween into the to find the kids destination for Halloween. And the cool thing here too is we have choose your spooky. So you can go super, super, super clean and G, or you can go like the PG-13-ish, right? But there's something for everyone in the family. My big thing is there has to be something for everyone in the family to watch. Again, I won't say it because I don't want to feel weird, but it's got to be clean, safe. You can watch with grandma, right? Gordon, Scott, it's squeaky clean. Squeaky clean. So there you got 2.
Love it.
You got the Scott threshold, you got the Rose threshold. Okay.
All right.
What's the final one?
The cauldron awaits. Let's see what we got here.
Also, Gordon, I just have a question. Do you have, you randomly have a cauldron full of just shows and movies and
no, because when we planned this, I went through the destination and picked a bunch of titles.
Okay,
you're welcome. Being a host isn't just sitting here and cracking wise and making everybody look good. No, we do some research.
This is exactly how he decides what he's watching every night. He pulls out the cauldron. He's like,
the cauldron.
With the price tag at the bottom.
I said I had to go to the basement, but it's by the lazy chair. I would say the easy boy. That's something way different. Okay. This is 6 of one, 1/2 dozen of the other. Okay, this can be silly and scary. Michael Jackson's Thriller.
And no one's gonna save you from the beast about to strike. It's night. You're fighting for your life inside a thriller. Night. 'Cause I can do you more than any ghost would ever try. So let me hold you tight and share up together.
Wow. Holy cow.
Yes, Scott with the moves. He said he
Kids,
wouldn't
if
do.
you missed out on the 80s, you missed that. Like, so they used to make videos that they played along with songs and played them on a network called MTV. And
VH1.
VH1, but Michael Jackson's Thriller was like the pinnacle of that. And we say silly and scary because you just watch a horde of zombies, getting their dance on. Maybe not so scary, but when I was a kid, because this isn't just a music video, it starts with a short movie of Michael Jackson turning into a werewolf, and then once he's done singing, those zombies bust into a house and try to attack his girlfriend. And there's like a scene where Vincent Price tells a poem while zombies bust out of their graves. I remember being a kid and being like legitimately scared of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Rose, Scott, tell me, like, what is your experience with this?
I just want to circle back to your Vincent Price moment because I actually, when I interviewed Elvira, I mentioned I spoke with her. I know you're still mad about it.
I'm
Don't
so mad.
Be mad, Gordon. It's fine. So I talked to her about this song because she was originally supposed to do that voiceover that Vincent Price does. Wow.
That's a fun fact you're dropping on us.
It's a Rose fun fact. Rose fun fact. We don't have a theme song for Rose Fun Facts yet, but we're going to work on it. But yeah, definitely. If you want to learn a little bit more about that moment, it's kind of hilarious. And you also get to hear Elvira do her Michael Jackson impression, which is equally iconic. So definitely check it out.
So personally, I was also scared, but I think because when they played music videos, they played it from the beginning, right? From that like mini movie. So that was scary. I feel like if they started with the music, I wouldn't be as scared. So this definitely falls depending on where you watch it, like both like not so scary and scary.
That is a great reminder because the video actually starts off with like a placard that's like Michael Jackson saying he doesn't believe in the occult. And you're like, so Michael Jackson saying there is a cult, he just doesn't believe in it. Like I remember being a kid being like, that's confirmation that zombies are real. And that we should be, and when they're not singing and dancing, we should be running. But yeah,
the practical effects on this video were incredible. Like the zombies they could have just kind of like, phoned it in and did like, green, like light green zombies, but like they were like deteriorating. And like, I remember watching a documentary or behind the scenes on Thriller and the amount of makeup that Michael Jackson went in or how long he had to go in for to just do the werewolf thing was insane.
Oh
so,
yeah. I still have flashbacks of them putting the yellow contacts in his eyes to be the werewolf.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
I love that. Anything with like poking out an eyeball, sign me up.
Well, here's a fun fact though. Like, so Thriller remains one of the top sort of music videos or, music in Kwame's spooky season collection every year during Halloween or around in October. So you'll find that in the
This
Uber.
is an amazing fun fact because not only is that the case, but Hocus Pocus is one of the highest performing kids and family movies, and Halloween, not necessarily Halloween Ends, but I'm sure it will do gangbusters. The original Halloween always does incredible every Halloween. So, I mean, Gordon, your cauldron really delivered.
No, it really, I mean, come on, get in there, high five, Scott. That was fun fact.
Yeah.
Rose's fun fact. Rose's fun fact. Everybody listen to Rose's fun fact.
It's almost Halloween, and if you're in the process of planning a thriller night, a monster mash, or a season of The Witch, our very own music editor Quam has the perfect collection of spooky songs to populate your party playlist. Quam, tell us more about it.
Thank you so much, David. Yes, the Spooky Season soundtrack is the one-stop shop for all of your horror needs. Our annual Halloween music curation will turn any home into the perfect haunted house. Are you looking for music that fits your horror subgenre of choice? Well, we have music for the supernatural, the undead, fans of the slasher, and so much more. And on the other hand, are you looking to choose your level of spookiness? Well, we have everything from mildly uncomfortable, featuring Tierra Whack's very uncomfortable smile, to Do Not Enter, which if you enter there, you're going there on your own on your own whim. Okay, be careful. Those music videos are scary. I would not recommend you going in there unless you have the heart for it. But I must say that my favorite aspect of this year's collection was actually inspired by our friend Audrey, and that is songs that are inspired by true crimes. And I didn't realize how many songs were actually inspired by crimes and just bad things that happen. And it took me down a rabbit hole, and I realized that some of my favorite songs were actually inspired by true crimes. And not necessarily, it's the song that I'm choosing to show y'all right now. It's not necessarily inspired by a specific crime, but it's inspired by a situation that happens way too often. And it's actually very sad. And the song itself is very pop and very happy. But once you start reading into the lyrics, it's actually telling a really grim tale. So let's play that song right now. Yes, that is Foster the People, Pumped Up Kicks. This song was such a hit, and it's not really hard to see why. I mean, the tune is very catchy. The beat is so uplifting, and it's just like oozes like pure fun. But the song is actually about the school shooter, and it's actually like one of the most like the most serious song you can possibly sing. And the fact that it was like, you know, controlling the radio waves when, you know, radio was still like very popular is just remarkable. It just kind of shows that people do not listen to lyrics at all, because the song kind of spells it out for you, even in the chorus, where, you know, they're saying like, just run from my gun. And it's so eerie when you like realize what the song's actually about, and then you start tying it into like real life events. It's like, oh, this makes you feel really just like uneasy, which I think actually, now that I'm thinking about it, really works to the song's benefit, because it's one of those things that no one wants to talk about, but we kind of gloss over, but it's still very uneasy to talk about. So yeah, Pumped Up Kicks by the Foster the People. Very uneasy song to listen to. It's spooky in a way that you're not expecting. Liz, did you have something to say?
No pressure, Liz. But yeah, like I'm one of them, right? Like I don't think that I paid attention to those lyrics when that song came out. And I remember, you know, bopping to it too. And now, after listening to the lyrics, I can't believe that, you know, I didn't hear it before that. Like, you know, just the references around all of that. Like how did I miss it? Like I feel really come at, but I feel like I deserve that because I didn't listen to those lyrics before.
I just always assumed it was, you know, a metaphor for something else. Like I heard the lyrics, obviously, and because I used to sing them, but just assumed it was something, represented something else. I didn't think it was literal.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like terrifying that we were bopping around to this massive hit that was talking about something so awful.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, and that kind of just like encompasses like, you know, like songs that are inspired by true crimes, because, you know, like the song will be so just like catchy and so just, you know, like so much of an earworm that you don't even realize that it's being inspired or is, you know, telling the tale of something that's like very grim. Honestly, I kind of forget who is supposed to go next, but I'm just gonna say David.
Liz.
David, yo,
it's Liz. It's Liz.
Yeah.
Liz.
I'll take it. Thanks. Actually, I have a very similar type song where it was not necessarily a bop. It sounded like something that it wasn't. So we'll talk about it after we hear it. Play the tape.
Every breath you take, and every move you make, every bond you break, every step you take, I'll be watching you every single day, and every word you say, every game you play, every night you stay, I'll be watching you.
How did we miss that? This is not, in fact, a love song. Not sure how we missed it. I mean, people even played this at their wedding. And when doing research, people were coming up to Sting and to the band Police, and they're like, we love this album. And they're like, wow. They're like, it was the most played song at our wedding, and they couldn't believe it. So this song back in 1983, Sting had just separated from his wife, who happens to be the best friend of the new girlfriend. And to add insult onto injury, they lived on the same block. They were neighbors, right? So it was creepy. And he admitted to it being creepy, right? But he was like, this is not a love song. This is about an obsessive stalker. And when you look at the video, you think to yourself, how did I miss it? They're in an abandoned building, tons of cigarettes. That means they've been there for a long time. They've got the guy cleaning the window. I mean, there's nobody in this place, and he does not look happy. He doesn't look regretful, like he misses somebody. I mean, if you go watch the video again, but if you watch it, I mean, he is like the camera, like into it, like, I'm watching you. Every breath you take, you're not getting away. So it was very creepy. What are your thoughts?
I mean, me personally, that last shot where he just like looks at the camera, I think that says it all. I mean, anyone who looks at me like that, I'm like, oh, he clearly they're not showing signs of affection. Clearly they're showing signs of mental instability. So I don't know how y'all missed it. I mean, I'm a little too young for that song. I mean, I know this song, but in hindsight, I don't know how that.
Well, you know this song.
I do know that song
because back in 1997, Puff Daddy took it and he took a riff from it and used it for "I'll Be Missing You," and even the band was surprised that like this is what, like, it's doing well again. And it's just interesting how everybody, you don't think you know the song until you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, I do know it.
I've never seen the video for this song. This is the first time I've ever seen that video. I'm not necessarily a Sting fan. But once you watch it, that stare right at the end, creepy Sting staring right at us, like that tells a whole different story. And I've definitely heard this played at weddings before, especially like old like family weddings back in the 90s is one of those really romantic, like anything that like Sting sang, or what was that All for One and All for Love song that was like one of the Three Musketeers songs. It had like Rod Stewart and I think Sting and Bryan Adams, a lot of Bryan Adams wedding songs. I wonder how many people I'd love to fund with some money, some research into how many people who got married to that song are now divorced. I'm gonna crowdsource some money to see if we can work that out.
Yeah, crazy.
Good use of funds, David.
David, what about you? You got a title for us? A song for us?
I do, and this is actually the one that kind of kicked all this off behind the scenes. When Kwam, Audrey, and I were doing some research to talk about our favorite songs and our favorite guilty pleasure songs. And the one that just blew our minds was a 1998 song called The Way by Fastball. If you don't remember it, here's a clip. So The Way reached #1 on multiple Billboard charts in the summer of 1998, including the rock chart, or the modern rock chart, where it was #1 for 7 weeks. And it was one of those songs you played with the car windows down and the summer breeze blowing through your hair. You were doing one of these in the wind, out the window. But did you know the absolutely haunting story behind this song's lyrics? On June 29th, 1997, 88-year-old Raymond Howard and his 83-year-old wife, Leela, left their home in Salado, Texas, to attend a music festival less than 20 miles from their home. Raymond had recently suffered a stroke, and Leela was showing early signs of Alzheimer's, but the couple attended the festival every year, so their family thought, no big deal. 3 days later, the couple was stopped by a sheriff's deputy for driving with their headlights off 500 miles away in Arkansas. When the Howards family alerted police to their disappearance back in Texas, officers searched their home to find that they had left their hearing aids behind, they left their cat behind with no food or water, and had unplugged all of their appliances in the home. They even had their calendar up and it was turned to February, even though it was June. They had also apparently left folded clothes behind on their bed, presumably for the trip, but they didn't pack it. And then on July 12th, less than 2 weeks after they were last seen, the Howards' Oldsmobile was found at the bottom of a 25-foot cliff in Arkansas with the couple dead with it. Police estimate that the car was traveling at 50 miles per hour when it drove off the cliff. There were no skid marks found to suggest they even attempted to stop. Shortly afterwards, fastball singer and songwriter Tony Scalzo, who is from Texas, was inspired to write The Way after seeing a headline that read, quote, elderly Salado couple missing on trip to nowhere. And now when you go back to listen to the song and listen to those lyrics, where were they going without even knowing the way? It's a whole different and frankly, really, really depressing experience, and kind of wild to believe that like we were all bopping to this in the summer of 1998 thinking it was just a fun road trip song. Really, really brutal. And as I was writing it, I was like, this is going to be a really depressing segment.
You know what? And you guys will come at me for this, and I guess that's all right. We all are entitled to our opinions. I think it's a little bit romantic, if I'm being honest with you. This couple was like, all right, what's happening to us? I don't know, right? I don't think it was, obviously, it wasn't an accident the way that people, think that it may have been an accident. Could have been planned, but they were probably at just a point in their lives where they're like, hey, what do we have to lose at this point? Let's just go and have the trip of our lives. We'll buy whatever we need when we get there. I don't want to hear anything or anybody. It doesn't matter. We don't need these hearing aids. Let's just go. I find it a little liberating. Yes, a little romantic too, but maybe because I've been married for so long too. I get it. I feel it.
Yeah. There's definitely like a lot of rumors and speculation as to whether they did kind of know what they were doing at the end, but only two people know for sure. But the song definitely like romanticizes it a little bit.
Sure.
Kwam, I don't know if you remember this song.
No, I don't. I mean, when Audrey showed it to us, it was definitely the first time I've heard this song. But I think something that we are seeing recurring happen is that the depressing songs that shouldn't be, number one hits, just somehow become number one hits, regardless of the dark background behind it. Because with each one of our songs, they all turn out to be either top 10 or number one hits. So it's actually kind of creepy to really think about it.
Goes to show you it doesn't even matter what you say. Honestly, it is all about the musicality and the fact that they had amazing beats. They were catchy. They knew what they were doing for sure.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
If you are a fan of Halloween and horror movies, I'm sure you have that handful of terrifying flicks you just have to watch before All Hallows Eve. Well, so do I. And if you're looking for horror movie essentials, look no further than Zumo, which has several of the greatest films in the genre's history, and they are available to watch for free at no additional cost to you. So let's take a look at them, shall we? First up is the iconic 1922 silent film Nosferatu. Directed by F.W. Murnau, this German film is a loose adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula and tells the story of a vampire named Count Orlok who terrorizes the village of Weisberg. Bram Stoker's estate actually sued the filmmakers over Nosferatu, and a court ordered that all copies...
Sorry, excuse me.
That's
Nosferatu. So good.
Well, I think you sneezed on our last episode that I was on with you with, and you said it was the first time anyone had ever sneezed on What to Watch Live, and now second time. Nosferatu. Well done. Did Brad say that in the Nosferatu? I said Nosferatu. We're just
David's mom has a new least favorite rose.
It's you, Rose. You're done.
My fault.
So all the copies of Nosferatu were actually ordered to be destroyed, but at least one of the prints survived and is now regarded as one of the greatest films ever made. And another fun fact about this is that Christopher Walken's character in Batman Returns was named Max Schreck as a tribute to the actor who played Nosferatu, Max Schreck. So
I love this.
Yeah, so that's the first one. I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, but it's super creepy and made even creepier by the fact that it's a silent film, which, I mean, who watches silent film anymore? Like, no one, because they don't exist.
That's true. And I actually do a very short impersonation of Christopher Walken as Max Schreck.
Yes,
Santa
please.
Claus. Santa Claus. Afraid not.
That's a good one. I like
Bravo. Bravo.
Good job. Good job.
Well, let's move on to the next one that I'm really, really excited about, and that is the 1959 Vincent Price classic, House on Haunted Hill. I love Vincent Price, and aside from House of Wax, this is my favorite Price film. He plays a millionaire who invites 5 guests to his home for a haunted house party with the promise that anyone who lasts the full night will win $10,000. Of course, that was easier said than done. House on Haunted Hill was directed by William Castle, who is perhaps best known for his low-budget B-movies and his in-theater gimmicks that he used to enhance and promote his films. And for House on Haunted Hill, Castle had elaborate pulley systems installed in theaters which dropped a plastic skeleton over audiences during a corresponding scene in the movie. And this was pretty, typical for Castle. Some of his other gimmicks included vibrating seats for the film The Tingler, a pre-movie poll for the movie Mr. Sardonicus, where audiences could vote on the villain's fate before the film even started. And there was actually 2 endings for the film that were shot. One where the villain was killed and one where the villain was shown mercy. And there were rumors that the merciful ending was never even filmed because audiences never voted for mercy. But Castle insisted there was a different ending. And then for the film Homicidal, audiences could choose to leave the theater during what they called a fright break before the finale in case they were too scared. And it was very much like that shame moment where the audience members had to leave and go to a section called Coward's Corner, where they would have to sign a yellow card saying they were too chicken to stay.
A yellow card.
And forced to leave. So, I mean, that just gives you an idea of the man behind these movies, and House on Haunted Hill is just one of the best.
That would be me, though.
I
would be
like,
proud
"Here's my yellow
to sign
card."
that card and hold that up. I would be like, so, yeah, peace.
What was also interesting about that one is that audiences would be given their money back if they decided that they couldn't handle it. So people were coming a second night, watching the movie up to the finale, and then leaving to get their money back until William Castle caught on and started having different colored tickets for different nights.
Oh, interesting.
The third film in our lineup is George A. Romero's 1968 genre-defining classic, Night of the Living Dead. This is, of course, the quintessential zombie movie, which follows 7 people trapped in a rural farmhouse under siege by a mob of brain eaters. It's worth noting that The Night of the Living Dead marked the first time a Black man had been cast as the star and hero of a horror movie. That actor, Dwayne Jones, would appear in only 5 more movies before his death in 1988. And while zombies had been appearing in films for more than 5 decades before Night of the Living Dead, Romero established the standard for how the Walking Dead appear and act and move on camera. But of course, now modern horror movies like World War Z, Zombieland, 28 Days Later, and the Night of the Living Dead remakes have changed the standard to zombies who run, dividing fans into two camps. So, Rose, I know you are a big zombie movie fan. Do you prefer walking zombies or running zombies?
Walking, duh. But I mean, let's clarify. I'm a fan only because I want to know how to survive. That is my worst irrational fear. Okay. I'm not a fan because I'm like, zombies, I love you. No, I don't want anything to do with them. I'm paying attention to the survivors and paying attention to the people who die first because I'm not I'm not going to do what they did, those mistakes. Yes. But walking all the way, you want zombies running at you at lightning speed like in World War Z? H to the E double L, no.
Gordon, do you have a preference?
I have very strong opinions about this. And back when I used to live in apartments, I would take into account the ability to protect the place in the case of a zombie attack. The way to do it is to have a staircase that goes down to a door, because I figured you could take like a love seat, throw it down there, and wedge between the stairs and the door. There's no way to get in, and they can't get to a second floor window. But when it comes to
the high ground,
thought it out. But now I'm in a house with windows, and I'm screwed in the case of the zombie apocalypse. But my take is, I'll watch any zombie movie. And I don't have a preference, but in real life, because this will happen, a walking zombie, I'd be like, all right, we need to figure this out. How are we going to survive? Let's band together. A running zombie, it would just be like, well, let's call it a day. What are you going to do? Like, what would you do if like 5 running zombies you can't take them all out. So it would just be like, well, we had a good run. Let's call it the day. So when the inevitable zombie apocalypse does happen, I hope they are walkers.
My sister reminds me often, because she has a similar fascination with surviving zombie apocalypses as you, Rose, that I would be one of the first gone because I live next to a graveyard. So naturally, I would get the first wave of the Walking Dead right next door. And I sure hope they walk, because
no, David would be the character that like shows up at our house. He's like, guys, I don't feel so good.
I know he would be. Can you take a look at this like bite? Like, did it break skin? I'd be like,
they'd be like, what's in your arm? Nothing. It's fine. Nothing's happening.
Cover it up.
Feeling so tingly.
It's a mouth-shaped scratch.
No, I'd be like, get out.
So our last movie of this Essentials lineup is, of course, the John Carpenter 1978 classic Halloween. What would Halloween be without it? I think we all know the story. 15 years after murdering his sister on Halloween night, Michael Myers escapes the sanitarium and returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois. It's his home field. To exact his revenge, but winds up encountering a particularly resilient teenager by the name of Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. The final chapter, the allegedly final chapter in the Halloween saga, Halloween Ends, just released in theaters and on Peacock this past Friday. So if you're looking to start the story from the very beginning, you can check out the OG movie right now for free with Zumo. Anything else before we wrap this up?
I like how you said allegedly. It's the last one. So true.
I don't know. We talked about this last week. I just can't see a situation where in the history of the rest of the world, hundreds of years or until, the asteroid, no one will make another one of these movies. It's not going to happen. We're going to see another Iron Man eventually one day. We will see many, many more Batman. Someone will remake E.T. It's going to happen.
Right. And it matters who owns the rights, because, we haven't seen Back to the Future 4 or Back to the Future Reboot because that team doesn't want to do it. The person that owned the rights, Michael Myers, he's like, he'll sign it off left and right. He's like, oh, Rob Zombie wants to do it. Why not?
Give me the money.
So it'll be like a month from now, they're gonna be like, we got a really good idea, so we feel like we need to do it. So yeah, Michael Myers has not seen his last home field attack.
For sure. And if you want to check out the movies we just talked about, just say the titles into your voice remote, or you can check out the 4-day horror movie marathon on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo, October 28th through Halloween. We'll have Nosferatu, House on Haunted Hill, Night of the Living Dead, Halloween, The Tingler, Prom Night, Sleepaway Camp, Slumber Party Massacre, Suspiria, Ginger Dead Man, An American Werewolf in Paris, The Last House on the Left, Ginger Snaps, and plenty of classics from the Mistress of Darkness herself, Elvira. How do I know all of this? I made the list. I made the marathon, so I know what's going to be there. And you can find it. Yes, Gordon.
Here's the thing. When it comes to curating things, David is the gold standard. But how are there only 2 ginger-themed movies, David? That's the best you could do? Two ginger movies?
You know what? Whenever someone's giving up those rights, I'm gonna make a third ginger movie.
Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man 3. Ginger Dead Man Returns. So
run as fast as you can.
He killed my daughter. But tonight, I will kill him. Come and get me. Maybe the only way he can die is if I die too. It all ends now.
Honestly, it's been an absolute pleasure going on this journey with you. I've been a fan of the franchise since I was a little child, and I never thought, teenage Scott definitely would never have thought that I'd be in this position to be able to chat with you about it. So
yeah, well, and by the way, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Okay. That's why we do it. We do it so that you have a feeling of care and compassion for her. She represents something to you. You're going through a hard time. You went through something bad. You felt persecuted. You had to find inner resolve. That's the beauty of this. This isn't some exercise in popcorn selling necessary. You know what I mean? This is art.
Totally. And I wouldn't think that you would sign on to it if it was. So
exactly.
Honestly,
that's perfect. My point. So it's, if you're not having that reaction, you know, people have been like, you're so emotional. I'm like, of course I'm emotional.
Exactly.
Our very own Xfinity editor, Scott, is going to tell you about the biggest and best premieres of the next 7 days. Take it away, Scott.
Feeling nostalgic for the smell of plastic mixed with stale popcorn? Are khakis and a blue polo your daily outfit of choice? Do I have the show for you? The latest workplace comedy from the creator of hit shows like Superstore and Brooklyn Nine-Nine follows the motley crew operating the very last Blockbuster store in America. Grab some candy and refreshments and be sure to check out the premiere of Blockbuster on Netflix November 3rd to avoid those late fees. Coming to Peacock on November 3rd, we have new episodes of BBC's hit thriller The Capture, escalating from the CCTV thriller of season 1 to a 6-part run of the new season featuring invisible assassins, the terrifying rise of deepfake technology, and the ever-growing tension between government and big tech, and of course, the corruption at the heart of the British media. Check out The Capture on Peacock November 3rd. Are you one of the millions of people who thought to yourself, you know, I'd really love to watch a gay cop movie starring a handsome musician turned actor right now, only for your search to turn up fruitless time after time? Well, you can stop writing angry letters to Jeff Bezos because Prime Video has delivered, and it's with a multi-million-dollar adaptation of a 50s set novel centering on the ill-fated romance of a lawman and his museum curator lover. You can check out Harry Styles in My Policeman on Prime Video starting Friday, November 4th. Also on Friday, November 4th, the new Apple original film Causeway, starring Oscar winner Jennifer Lawrence, lands on Apple TV+. The psychological drama follows a U.S. soldier, played by J. Law, who experiences a traumatic brain injury during her tour in Afghanistan, forcing her to return home. While struggling to get back to daily life with her mother, she forms an unexpected bond with a local mechanic played by Brian Tyree Henry. Check it out on Apple TV+, Friday, November 4th. Closing out the week, Starz brings back the timeless tale Dangerous Liaisons for yet another go-round. The historical drama chronicles the origin story and early years of narcissistic rivals and ex-lovers who use seduction to control and exploit others. I mean,
who doesn't, honestly? If you're a fan of super cinched corsets and pretty powdered wigs, pour yourself some tea and settle into this Sure to Be Scandalous series on Sunday, November 6th.
And that will do it for today's Halloween special. Thank you to all my fellow Xfinity editors for joining me this week. Special thanks to Charlize Theron and Kerry Washington for hanging out today. Their new movie, The School for Good and Evil, is on Netflix now. Also, thank you to Jamie Lee Curtis for stopping by. Her new movie, Halloween Ends, is currently in theaters and streaming on Peacock. Shout out to our producers, Brad, Aaron, and everyone else behind the scenes for making the show run smoothly. If you want to check out the TV shows and movies we talked about today, get more of our entertainment recommendations, or watch us interview big celebrities like you just saw today, just say what to watch into your voice remote or tune in here every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern for a new episode. And remember, you can check us out across the country 24/7 on the Xfinity What to Watch channel on Zumo. My name is David. Happy Halloween, and thank you for joining us on What to Watch Live.